And welcome back to the Create Mod here on Music Free Gaming. It is great to have you here, and I am over at my mob farm with a little bit more terracotta that may have been here before, because it is time to do some upgrades. That's right. I want to actually hook this thing up so that I can actually connect it to the trains and automatically pull drops from this when I need to. It's gonna be great. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, now that I've had a good night's sleep, the first thing I want to do is I want to change the direction the mob farm is going. So right now, it's connected to that giant freaking windmill up there and meandering this way. And I think what I want to do is I think I want to connect it over here. Yeah, because what I'm thinking I want to do is I've got the railroad over this way. I think what I want to do is bring it over and around. Well, I'd have to cut over the ocean, which is fine. I could bridge across that and then swing across and go this way. But in all honesty, having it come around this side may not be a bad idea. All right, I think I can do that. Let's yeah, and then just have a little S-turn. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am going to build it on this side. In any case, what's going on here is not going to work for me. All right, after, I'm sure it was careful consideration, maybe something like that, I have decided I'm going to, first off, take out those things because they're not needed. But I am going to go ahead and go with my first instinct and run stuff over this way. When that means this all goes away. Okay, and what I'm going to end up with is some semblance of falling. All the falling. I'm going to end up with some semblance of shafts coming this way, and then running out eventually to be fed into these PSIs for pickup by the trucks. All right, so I guess I've got a couple of places I need to figure out what I'm going to do. This is a test of the emergency I don't know what I'm doing system. This had been a real question of confusion. You wouldn't even be able to tell it from normal video content. Thank you for your attention. It's having decided to go the new direction. I've got my belts shifted. They're coming this way. They're leading over to a couple of belts that are going to connect to the PSIs. And I think those are going to change. They're not going to be andesite, but I needed the andesite, or I needed a tunnel or a funnel to make sure I knew where everything was connecting up, because I'm still a little bit of a create noob. Now comes an extra special bit of fun. This is called planning ahead. This is something I'm trying to do more of on for my videos, but you can see how well it's working so far. And what are you doing up here? I'm sorry, this area is closed to visitors. No, you are not allowed here. They never listen. Never. All right, so here's part of the fun, is I have, oops, pointing the wrong way, but I have some mechanical saws. And what I want to do is I'm going to put the saws in place as a way of dealing with those mobs that just don't die the way they're supposed to, right? Because they maybe have feather falling boots or something along those lines. And honestly, I personally think they should end up in some form of state of dead. So we're going to take care of that with the saws, and that way they won't hang around. They won't eat up the mob cap. They'll just die a glorious death to all of the mechanical saws. And I can tell you from personal experience, getting cut in half by these saws is unpleasant. So try to avoid that. Here's where things are good. Well, here, lots of places where things are going to get fun. Let's not be silly. This is Create Mod. Create Mod is fun. And frankly, there is lots of it. And I'm more than happy to have lots and lots of fun in Create Mod. And if you have fond memories of getting buried by sand, you know, while you're digging through random beaches. No, just me? Not even me? Okay, cool. All right, thanks to the power of a mechanical or an encased chain drive, I now have stuff happening here. So those are spinning, which is great. And then what I need to do is connect a gearbox and a shaft. And boom, now we have movement. It's a little slow, right? It's at 16. I cranked this sucker up to 256. Oop. I will not crank this sucker up to 256. Apparently that breaks it, makes it go too fast. So, what? Okay. 112, 28, 192 is too fast. Okay. I wonder what's not too fast. All right, well, I guess I'll play with this and find a good speed here. The fastest I can go without breaking the stupid thing. So apparently 128 is going to be doing it for us today. Okay, that's fine. That's probably plenty fast. I think that will probably saw people in half rather nicely, so we'll go with that. The next thing to do is connect this guy up to some storage. So let's get into that. Okay, so what I have here now are a couple of big storage vaults. And yes, these are probably bigger than they need to be, but it's okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these tunnels and, oops, expand. Okay, yep, need to be sure all of my wiring goes through. Thanks very much. Okay, yes, so that's all going through. So I need these tunnels, and what the tunnels are going to do is they're going to filter things into each vault, right? So what I want to filter is, give me a thing. I want gunpowder and I want string. The rest of it, in all honesty, I think can just go away. I don't really need all of the arrows and stuff. So I'm going to set this up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set gunpowder on this side, and we'll set string on this side. And I don't know if I actually have to set a filter for everything else, but I think everything else will just drop out this way. So we'll see how that happens here in just a minute. That problem is solved. I added a filter here that is basically anything that's not gunpowder or string comes out this side. All right, so good. That means everything that is gunpowder and string is going to end up here in these vaults. And let's go ahead and grab a couple of funnels. You know, I have 5. I think I need 6. You know, it's always the way, right? So those are going to go there. These guys are going to come here and, oops, and there. And then I need one on the other side as well. So, darn it. All right, I'm going to need another funnel there. All right, so first things first, we're going to pop this guy out and we'll stick a clutch in there. All right, cool. And now we're going to we'll add a redstone link to it. I should probably come up with a frequency for this thing. And let's go with, we'll go with rotten flesh gunpowder. That seems like a reasonable frequency here. Rotten flesh, gunpowder, and you are a receiver. Okay. See, all that time working for a wireless ISP, you know, doing, you know, wireless internet came all sorts of in handy here as I set these redstone links up, right? Or, you know, something. Okay, a little redstone magic, and things look like they're going to be great. So I've got stockpile switches on each of these. When they get to about 75% full, maybe I'll turn this up to 85% full on each of these. No, I'll turn it down because I can't control how frequent it is to drop, you know, gunpowder and other stuff, right? So we'll load this thing up and we'll see how this goes. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the frequency is going to be between gunpowder and string, but hopefully it's still roughly equal, right? That would be all sorts of lovely, to be honest. But the idea now is when these run, they trigger this radio, which will stop the machine just like that. And while I don't have it hooked up yet, I've got the manual override in place to just keep the farm off. It will also trigger this radio up here, which should stop all the water flushing in the farm. So this should all be pretty automatic while these things fill up. And that's great. I love things that are automated. I think I've got everything set up. I've got some... Actually, let's go ahead and clean up that gunpowder that was on the belt. So right now, everything is set up the way it would be for production, except for the switch that's up on the roof. Okay. So everything is off, and it's ready to take string and gunpowder and everything else drop down into this cauldron. Now, I don't have any lava yet because I want to see what's going to happen. But let's go ahead and hop up here. Turn this off. Right? Turn off this switch. And so now the farm is on. Right? Now, it's not doing much because I'm standing on it. So let's head up here to the AFK spot. In all honesty, it might have been faster just to take the ladder. But let's see if I can... Nope. All right. Nope, I couldn't get in there. Somebody with actual skill, or, you know, through the memory that they have a silk touch pickaxe and could have just broken the glass and gotten in, would totally have made that. All right, but let's swing on down here, and the mobs are going to be dropping. Right? Yep, you can see them. There they go. They're dropping away. And we've got string. You know, see all the bones and arrows and all that other stuff are swinging out into the cauldron and dropping down there. And when I'm done with this, what I want to do is basically, I just want to see if any gunpowder or any string ends up there. But what it looks like we're good. And, oh yeah, everything is dying to the fall, which is great. Now, I forgot to close this side up, which is less great, but otherwise, things look like they're behaving the way I want them to do. You know, took out the filter so that if I do have overflow, the extra string and gunpowder will just get destroyed, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. So, yeah, now that's the problem, right? This skeleton just standing here should be being eaten by these saw blades. And it doesn't seem to be. So, I don't know what's happening here, but in all honesty, I would really like him to be dead. Excuse me for a moment while I remember to do the obvious thing and turn the farm on. Some days I'm not entirely sure how I managed to get my socks on in the morning. All right, yeah, I think I've got the saws figured out. I replaced the glass blocks with glass panes. The blocks were sticking out and basically keeping any mob that dropped here that survived the fall from being pushed over into the saw blades. So now anything that survives should end up sliced into little bitty pieces, which is good for me and bad for whatever mobs drop down in there. But I am okay with that. I think this is going to work. I have reached the parrots and the flaps? What the heck is that? Make 2 belt-mounted funnels kiss. Hidden achievement. Huh. Okay. All right. I guess I'll take that. All right. So I've got the farm on. I'm AFKing just a little bit to add a little more string. Unfortunately, spiders are a problem. But since pretty much the only thing I want is gunpowder and string, one of the things I should do in the not too distant future is come through here and line the ceilings of each of these platforms with trapdoors. That way it's, and actually turn them into full blocks, because right now it's slabs. But yeah, turn them into full blocks and trapdoors so that only creepers and spiders will spawn, and I'll have less of my mob cap eaten up by, you know, skeletons and stuff. But otherwise, I think this is going to work out pretty well for me. And I'm sorry, it is a little dark. I should probably turn the gamma up, but you get the idea. Okay, so I've got the first bit of rail in place. I've got a couple of train stations here. And yes, they're forward a little bit just because of the design of the trucks. So the train would stop here for the gunpowder and here for the string. And I've got the track coming all the way up to connect to this main rail loop up here. Now I'm going to have to craft up a lot more rail, which I can do. That's not too bad. And figure out how I want to connect this end to the rest of the rail system. So that's going to be fun. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it'll, I'm sure, be all sorts of fun and excitement. So awesome. All right. Sweet. Well, cool. Do I have anything else to say there? No, I don't. I think we'll call that clip done. Well, that is all the time I've got, and I only got the mob farm done. So I guess the sugar factory is going to have to be in the next episode, which is fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know the drill. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Gaming signing off.